Today I'm going to take you through a mixed ability session that you can do anytime you've got 30 minutes spare. We're going to do a bit of an all over body workout. If you've got a soft ball or a big thick cushion, go and grab one of those, and also some little weights. Or if you've not got any little weights, then you can grab some bottles or some tins from the cupboard, anything that you've got. We're joined by Bella too. So I'm going to get you ready onto your back into your rest position for your star position. So from here you'll do a couple of pelvic tilts and then settle into your mid position before starting with your abdo prep exercise. And then bring your hands behind your head, interlock your fingers, cup the back of your head, and then on your breath out you're going to be curling up into your abdo prep. So breathing out to come up, drawing the ribs together, and then inhaling to lower, expanding through the back of the ribs, making sure we have a neutral pelvis throughout this movement. Ankles, knees and hips should be on their little tram tracks as always. And then from here, making sure you're keeping your neck nice and relaxed as you come up and down through your abdo prep exercise. So you imagine you're holding a peach underneath your chin, you keep that there, keep the head dropping back into the hands. You've got a nice support from the hands all the way through to the shoulder blades, so you can cradle the back of your head as you do the curl ups. And you're just rolling through at the pace of your breath. So every time you breathe out, you're curling up. And then every time that you breathe in, you're lowering back through. Now, I really want you to imagine each time that you curl up, you're drawing your rib cage together. So it's as though you're wearing a belt around the ribs, and every curl up, you're drawing in another notch on the belt. And then now we've got 5 more curl ups. And then now you can relax down, take your arms by your sides with your palms facing up, shoulder blades nice and heavy, and we're going to take it into spine curl. So tucking the tailbone under, rolling up one vertebra at a time here to your shoulder blades, and then rolling back down. So taking your own time as you do this one, I want you to breathe out as you curl up with the spine, and then inhale as you lower back down vertebrae by vertebrae. And then you're going to go for another 3 more here with your spine curls. You're making sure there's no tension into the shoulders and the neck, and you're starting the movement by tucking the tailbone using the glutes and the abdominals, and then trying to maintain a curl through the lower back into that C-shaped curve as you roll through, and then lowering from the ribs, and then 1 vertebrae at a time each time. You're going to push down into your heels to help get the gluteal activation as you do this one, and then slowly lowering. We'll go for 1 more here. And then in your own time, drawing all the way down. And now we're going to take it into a single leg bridge. So you're going to bring 1 leg up to a single tabletop and then curling up and down for 5 on each leg. Try to keep your tabletop knee right over the hip, and then curling through from the pelvis, getting a nice tuck under as you lift. This is your first set of these. We'll be coming back to them a little bit later on with a different variation. And I want you to be thinking about keeping that tilt on the pelvis as you do this one. We're going to go for 1 more here before changing legs. Slowly lowering down vertebrae by vertebrae, and then swapping over for 5 onto the other side. So digging down into the heel to get that gluteal activation, so you're squeezing through the bottom muscles. And then as well as keeping that tilt on the pelvis, you're trying to keep it level so you're not dropping through one side as you go up through this single leg bridge here. Again, keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed, the neck nice and soft into the mat. Make sure you've got equal pressure through both arms on the mat as well here. And then we've got your last one here. And then as you roll back down from this one, you can relax, lower the leg down from single tabletop, and then we're going to go into hamstring stretch. So bring the other leg straight up, straighten it out, grab behind the leg as high up as you can, slide your opposite leg straight across the mat. Go just for a few stretches here where we'll point and flex through the ankle, really anchor down through the opposite leg down into the mat. Get a nice big stretch through this top side, and then we're going to change over to the opposite side. So again, reaching away with both legs, trying to straighten them both out as much as you can. Point and flex through the ankle just to increase the stretch every time you flex the ankle up. And then making sure you're lengthening away through the opposite leg. And then relax through from here. We're going to go straight up into crisscross. So we're curling up with a double tabletop. Exhaling and twisting with the upper body, and then reaching the opposite leg away at the same time. So breathing out here as we twist. I want you to send your focus to the stationary knee, keeping it nice and still, so making sure we have pelvic stability. You should be in a flat back for this position, so you're in that imprinted spine, pulling the pubic bone up towards the navel, making sure we get as much rotation as we can through the upper body, but keeping the pelvis nice and locked, that knee doesn't move, and then reaching as far away as we can with our free leg here. And then after this one, we can relax, lower down as we reset before going back up into a double tabletop. So tilting the pelvis, lifting the legs back through. We're now going to curl up and reach to our ankles and tuck a little bit more of the tailbone, and then stretching into a double leg stretch. So this is curling like a ball. So we round ourselves up, tuck the tailbone under, and then reach away as far as we can with the legs and the upper body, but we're making sure we keep a flat back and a tilt on the tailbone. We've got a little friend that's joined us now for the rest of this. So tucking under and lifting with the upper body, maintain the tuck as you stretch away. Nice breath out as we do this, so breathing out, inhaling back through. Remember, we breathe out through our mouth with pursed lips, so we're blowing the candle out, and then inhale through the nose if you can. And then you can lower back down one leg at a time, and now we're going to take it up into the 100. So from here, we have a nice flat back position. You'll tuck the tailbone under, stretch the arms overhead, take a nice deep breath in, nice and wide. Breathe out, float the arms down and forwards, and then curling up with the upper body like an abdo prep. Then float the legs up one by one to double tabletop and glue the knees and ankles together. And now we'll start with your beats. So inhaling for 5 and then exhaling for 5. If you want to, you can then stretch the legs away into a double leg stretch. Remember, you'll only keep the legs as low as you can control as you do this one. We're curling up the whole time as much as we can, dropping the ribs down towards our abdomen, drawing the belly button into the spine, breathing in for 5 beats and then out for 5 beats. And we've got strong perturbations through the arms here, and then bending the knees, folding back in and relaxing back down. Okay, so quick rest before we get ready for our single leg stretch going into scissor leg stretch. So we're going to curl up like a ball again. We're going to stretch one leg away and hold on to the opposite leg, and then we're going to scissor through the legs. Now as you pull your arms to your legs, you're going to make sure you've got the outside hand going towards the ankle and the inside hand going towards the knee. We're swapping over with the legs and we're keeping a nice flat back. If you want to take into scissor leg stretch, you're then going to straighten the legs and then scissor them. So from here it's a pull, pull and change, pull, pull and change, keeping them nice and straight. Your focus is on the change over here. As you change legs, you're using your abdomen to control. The pelvis stays nice and still. We're keeping that tuck up the whole time, so we're really curling up through the upper body, keeping a nice flat back, lengthening those legs. So see how long you can make them as you change. So pull, pull and change, pull, pull and change, keeping it going at your own pace, keeping the breathing going here and making sure we're really drawing down with our belly button into our spine, and then bring the knees into the chest, give them a little hug, relax back down with your body, and you can do some nice knee circles just to relax the back and the abdominals here. Okay, so for this next exercise, you'll need your ball underneath your pelvis, or your cushion if you've not got a ball. So pop it straight underneath your bottom, and you'll need your little weights somewhere nearby. We're going to be going into our dead bug, so just have the weights by your sides for now. And then when you're ready, you're going to center yourself so you've got a nice neutral pelvic position on your ball or cushion. You'll float your legs up one by one into a double tabletop, then float the arms up towards the ceiling, and then in your own time you're now going to be breathing out, stretching the opposite arm and leg away, but keeping our knee in a knee fold, so it's like a toe tap with our free leg. So what I want you to focus on now is your core, so dropping the rib cage down, drawing the belly button into the spine, feeling a little pull up through the pelvic floor. Focus on going at the pace of your breath, so breathing out as you stretch away with the arm and the leg, and reach nice and long through the arm, making sure the shoulder blade stays down away from the ear, so you're still pulling your armpit down to your hip as you do this one. So keeping balanced if you're on your ball, keeping that lovely pelvic stability, reaching through on the out breath. And then make this your last one. And then you'll grab hold of your weights. So now from here we'll take it to full dead bug. So rather than having that knee fold, as you stretch away, it's going to be a one leg stretch with the leg. So reaching as far and as low as we can, keeping the leg nice and long, nice and straight on that reach out. So again, coming back to your pelvic stability, making sure the pelvis isn't shifting left to right as you do this one. You've got a nice relaxed neck. You're making sure the shoulders are away from the ears the whole time. Now you should be feeling a little bit more of a pull on the abdominals with the weights in the hands. So think of it like your rib cage closure exercise. I want you to feel that connection down from the ribs towards the pelvis as you reach overhead. And then now we're just going to go for 2 more on each side. And then making this one your last one here, long reach away and drawing back in and then lowering back down. So you'll drop your weights back down now, lower the legs one by one. Take the ball out of the way or the cushion out of the way, but then bring it in between the knees, and we're going to go back up into spine curls for our second set. So palms are facing up, relax through the shoulders. We're going to push the pelvis up through our spine curl, hold at the top. We're going to squeeze the ball or the cushion now, and you're going to extend one knee out, straightening the leg away. And then we're going to alternate with these squeezes here. So each time you bring your foot down and change over to the opposite side, I want you to think of resetting your pelvis. Make sure it's level. You can keep your hands on your hips with your elbows floating just to help have that feedback of the pelvis being level here. So squeezing the ball as tight as you can, so inner thighs are activated. You're pushing down into your heels to get the gluteal activation, and then lengthening away through one side at a time, reaching that leg nice and long, keeping those thighs into parallel still. And we're going to go for 2 more here. And then when you're ready, rolling down one vertebrae at a time all the way now. Okay, take the ball, the cushion out of the way, and we're going to roll over onto our front and go into a little bit of extension work. So lying onto your tummy now, we're going to lengthen the legs away. Hands are going to go into your W shape, so hands are wider than the mat, elbows pointing towards your waist. We're just going to be lifting up through our head now to start with for our Swan Level 1 exercise. So tucking the chin in, lengthening through the neck, and then floating the head up, keeping your chest nice and relaxed onto your mat, so you shouldn't be lifting your collarbones as you do this first part here. I want you to tuck your tailbone under, so you're lifting your abdominals and making sure you're protecting your lower back. So you shouldn't be feeling your lower back working as you do this one. Keep the neck nice and long, lengthening away through the crown of the head. And then after this next one, we're just going to go for 1 more before we go up into our dart exercise. So very last one here, feeling the stretch from the toes all the way through to the crown of the head, and then slowly lowering all the way down. And then when you're ready, you're going to take your arms by your sides now. So arms are floating, palms are facing into the body, and then when you're ready, lifting through the crown of the head just as you've done, but now we will lift the chest away, and as you lift through, you're going to be lengthening the arms down towards the feet as much as possible. So feel the shoulder blades pulling down into the back jeans pockets here almost as you get that lift up through the chest. So lifting and lowering in your own time. And then now from here, you're going to grab hold of those hand weights again, which should be by your side. We're going to lift up and hold and go into little 100 beats. So doing those little beats with the arms up and down, squeezing the shoulder blades together. We're maintaining our top position, so we're lifted up through the crown of the head and the collarbones away from the mat. Shoulders are pulling away from the ears as much as possible. You're still tightening your abs, so you're still tucking the tailbone under, drawing those springs together from ribs to hips, keeping that nice connection through the core to make sure the lower back isn't working too hard. Inhaling for 5 beats and then exhaling for 5 beats here. And then when you're ready, lowering down, pushing back, we're going to go into a child's pose. So just pressing the bottom back to the heels, drop the chest down, relax, and let your spine feel nice and heavy in this position. And then slowly in your own time, you're going to come up now. We're going to go into a hands and knees position. When you're ready, grab your ball or your cushion, pop it in between the knees, give it a nice tight squeeze. Your knees might be slightly narrower than hip position here. And then when you're ready, going through the cat. So we're tucking tailbone under, rounding up through the whole spine, pushing away from the mat with our belly button into our angry cat. And then in your own time, you're going to release to roll away into your happy cat. So setting the tailbone up towards the ceiling, allowing the belly button to drop to the mat, and then lifting the chest away from the floor, keeping the neck long. So now rolling back through to angry cat, you're going to go through your angry and your happy cat positions in your own pace. Each time you roll up to an angry cat, I want you to think about squeezing your inner thighs together as well as squeezing the bottom to tuck the tailbone under. And then in your happy cat position, I want you to feel this length through the whole spine. So here when you go into angry cat, we tuck the chin in and we lengthen through the back of the neck. And then imagine you're holding a peach. You keep the length in the back of the neck. As you roll from the tailbone all the way through back to a happy cat position, we're still holding our peach, but we're lifting away from the floor. So we're tucking the chin in, but lifting through the crown of the head and pulling the shoulder blades away from the ears. So squeezing the inner thighs the most as we go through angry cat position, and then lengthening through the upper back in our happy cat position. Really focus on the upper back, getting the stretch here. Then when you're ready, we're going to go for one more each way. So back into angry cat, pulling the belly button up, squeezing the inner thighs, rolling away into happy cat, lengthening through the upper back. Now from here, you're going to grab your ball again, if you've got the ball, and pop it onto your lower back to give you a little bit of a challenge for Superman next. So we'll keep a nice straight spine. So imagine your spine is a nice table here. So you're going to think of lifting the chest and lifting the abs up. So we've got a flat back. So we've got a little bit of happy cat in the upper back and a little bit of angry cat in the lower back with this one. You're going to try and keep your ball resting onto your back, and then just sliding the opposite arm and leg away, straightening them on the mat first and then lifting once you can't reach any further away. Now your focus is to keep your pelvic stability, so you're making sure you're not tipping from left to right through your pelvis here. And then I want you to be thinking about your glutes working nice and hard to stretch the leg away. So we're squeezing the bottom as we lift. And then after this one, we're going to change up our challenge now. So you can take the ball away from your back. You're going to grab those hand weights. So they're in front of you. So be it your tins or you've got little hand weights. Go back to your start position again in 4-point kneeling. And now when you're ready, back into Superman's, but we're going to float up the weight in our hand and we're going to do little pulses. So So we're holding onto the one side as we pulse up. We're keeping the abs lifted, making sure we don't dip into our lower back every time we lift the leg. You should be squeezing really tight through the glutes as well on this one. And then we're going to change sides. So resetting yourself, stretching away, keeping the pelvis nice and still, and then tiny little pulses when you get to the top. So shoulder blades are drawing away from the ears. We've got a long neck, we've got that happy cat in the upper back. We're clenching through our abdominals and our glutes to give us those little pulses with pelvic stability. Just go for a couple more here, and then slowly drawing all the way back in. And then when you're ready, you're going to push back into a child's pose. So knees can go nice and wide, bottom back towards our heels, stretch the arms forwards, have a nice big reach, and then dropping the chest in towards your mat. And then slowly coming back up. And then when you're ready, we're going to go into sideline position next. So you'll use your cushion or your ball to go underneath your head to give you a little bit of support. Have your hand weight nearby. We're going to go in for clam level 1, but we're going to have some external rotation for our shoulder cuff as well. So grabbing the weight, bringing the elbow into the waist. You've got a long waist here. We've got the heels together, knees bent forwards. We're going to be turning out through our top knee and our arm at the same time. So making sure here you've got a nice long spine, so the head is in alignment with the rest of the spine, shoulders are stacked, long waist, you're tucking tailbone under a little bit, drawing in through the abdominals, and then squeezing up using the bottom muscles as if you're squeezing the sitting bones together, and at the same time turning out from the elbow up towards the ceiling with your hands. You're keeping that 90-degree bend at the elbow with this one. Then we're going to go up to level 2 with our legs, so ankles are lifted, and then we'll carry on with our clam from there with the ankles lifted. Now we're reaching the arm along and just going into a mini abduction. So the arm floats up about 45 degrees and then it lowers down. So every time you lift the knee, you lift the arm and then you lower together. Now I want you to be pulling the shoulder away from the ear as much as possible here. So shoulder blades are drawing down towards your back jeans pockets, armpit pulling to the hips, and getting the length as you lift. Should feel a little bit easier now because we're not working on rotator cuff, we're working on deltoid. And then we'll just go for a couple more here, and then we're going to take it up into our level 3 clam. So top legs floating, bottom legs down, and now we're bicep curling at the same time as turning out with the knee. So with the floating clam, you imagine your top foot is just resting on an imaginary step. You keep it on the step as you turn out with the knee, and then crunching up with the arm into that bicep curl. Again, because you've got a smaller weight, shouldn't feel too much resistance to this one, so imagine the resistance and then lengthen away as if there's more resistance as you do your bicep curl. Shoulders still away from the ears, nice and relaxed through your neck, head is nicely supported, and then feeling the burn into the glutes, relaxing back down, drop the weight down. Last one here is going into your wave. So this is where we do a bit of a Mexican wave shape with our legs. So ankles together, turn the knee out, lift the knee up, turn it inwards, keeping it up, and then lower back down. So out with the knee and up, turn it in, and then lower through. So we're going to external rotation, abduction, internal rotation, and adduction as we draw together. Now with this one, I want you to be focusing back on the pelvic stability. So making sure your pelvis doesn't go back, and as you lift up, it doesn't crunch up towards your rib. And then as you turn the knee in, you're not pulling the hip forwards. You should definitely be feeling the burn now here with this one. And then relax, go give it a pat and a rub if you need to. Okay, we're going to stretch the legs straight out and go into some jackknives next. So bottom arm reaching straight out in front of you, hand behind the head, lengthen through the legs, and then when you're ready, we're going to crunch up into that side jackknife. So floating the legs up, squeezing them together, and then pushing down into the bottom arm, lifting the body up as high as we can. I want you to really focus on drawing the top rib and hip together as we come up into this crunch. You're going nice and slow and controlled, taking your time here as you do your jackknife. Push down into that bottom arm to really give you some stability to get that crunch upwards. And just slow and controlled, keeping the tension on, feeling the length as we stretch away with the body. And and then relaxing through from here. Okay, we're going to change to the side and do the whole sequence again. So starting with your climb level 1. So head is supported on your ball or cushion, you've got your hand weight nearby. Reset yourself so you're in alignment, head, shoulders, bottom and heels. Knees are a bit forwards, and then lengthen the top waist away and tuck your tailbone under slightly. Grab your weight, bring the elbow into the waist, and as soon as you're ready, you're going to be turning out with the knee and the arm. So the rotation happens from the shoulder as we lift the hand up towards the ceiling. The elbow stays in that 90-degree bend if you can. Imagine you're holding a newspaper underneath your arm into your waist, and you're keeping that there the whole time. So turning the knee out at the same time, clenching through the bottom muscles, really squeezing through the glutes to get the turn out. You're making sure that you're using your bottom muscles and the leg stays quite heavy, so the thigh wants to be relaxed, the calf wants to be relaxed. And then just making this next one your last one before taking it up into level 2. So from here, floating the heels up, going the same with the leg, stretch the arm nice and long, and now we're floating the arm up 45 degrees. With this one, I still want that reach. So stretch the shoulder away from the ear, the neck should be nice and relaxed. Reach the arm long as you lift, and at the same time keeping pelvic stability. Turning out as much as you can with that top knee, getting a good clench as though you're drawing your sitting bones together. And reaching as we lift the knee. And then making this next one your last one before we move on to our level 3 climb, which is our floating one. So ankles floating as if it's on an imaginary step. And then when you're ready, as you turn out with the knee, you're going to be bicep curling through that top arm. So squeezing into the curl and then stretching the arm long. Really focusing here as if you've got more resistance. So pulling through the resistance and lengthening through the resistance with the arm. And then again, making sure your ankle stays nice and still in mid-air as if it stays on that step so it doesn't lift and lower as you turn out through the knee. So we're squeezing through the glutes. Abdominals are drawing in to keep our pelvic stability, and we're trying to get a little bit of work through our bicep here with this one. And making this next one your last one. And then we're going to move on to the wave next. So drop your weight back down, reset again so you've got a nice long waist, and then turning out with the knee, lifting up, turning in, and then lowering down. So that Mexican wave shape with your leg. So we get external rotation as we go up, and then abduction as we lift, internally rotate, keeping the leg up. You'll definitely be feeling the burn now as you do this one, as it's our 4th one in a row. So turning out, lifting, turning in and dropping down. It's quite hard, but I want you to try and keep the leg lifted as we turn it in. So it's more about the ankle lifting up with this part, and then feeling that squeeze together as we adduct the legs back together. As always, keeping pelvic stability with this one. And then lowering down and relaxing. Okay, into your jackknife. So stretching the bottom arm in front of you, legs are straight out, and then crunching up into your side jackknives. So trying to pull the rib and the hip together as much as possible. Keep the legs squeezed together, and then making sure you take your time so you've got lots of time under tension and you're really lengthening away from this movement. So slow and controlled up into the jackknives. And then we have our last 2 here, so making this next one your best one, and then lowering back down, and now we're going to roll onto our front to do a swan stretch next. So rolling over in your own time, and then bringing the hands into that W shape, so making sure you've got your hands out by shoulder height, nice and wide, and then slowly coming all the way up into full swan stretch. So we're elevating all the way through to our pelvis, lifting the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Keep the curve in the back as you lower down. You're just bending the elbows back down to the mat and then lowering one vertebrae at a time. So in your own time, you'll keep going through your swan stretch here, really focusing on lifting the chest, opening the collarbones, lengthening the whole spine into this stretch. And then we're going to make this next one your last one. So lovely open chest position. And then slowly lowering. And then push back into a child's pose. So knees nice and wide, chest down to the middle, rest into the forehead. Relax through the spine here. And then we're going to come up into a pigeon fold. So bring one knee forwards, turn the leg out, so the ankle goes across the body, and then stretch the back leg away and then just lean forwards. And you can rock your pelvis left and right as you do this. Just changes the emphasis of the stretch a little bit as you rock over the pelvis here. So you should feel it in a different part of the glute. And then coming back through, and we'll swap over to the other leg. So exactly the same thing here. Slide the back leg away, drop the chest down. Just go as far down as you can with the upper body. So if you can't go all the way down, that's fine. And then again, going back into that rock of the pelvis left and right, just to give a nice release through the glutes as we've worked quite hard on them today. And then coming up from there, we're going to swivel the legs around in front of you. Legs straight for spine stretch if you can, otherwise you can bend the knees. Flex the ankles up towards you, float the arms up, shoulders down. And then we're going to tuck from the chin and curl all the way forwards through the spine, reaching out over the feet and then slowly restacking one vertebra at a time. So taking your time with this one, I want you to feel like someone's got your hands and they're pulling them over your feet, but at the same time you're scooping back with your abdominals. So then as you restack, you imagine that you're restacking up against an imaginary wall. Keep your abs drawn in as if you're keeping your lower back pressed into the wall as you curl forwards. So you're drawing in the abs, reaching through the fingertips, getting that nice stretch all the way through the spine. You shouldn't really feel this too much into the legs. So as I said, if you need to bend your knees, then do, but otherwise keep the legs straight and have the feet flexed upwards. And then relaxing through, dropping down now just into a heavy hang of a stretch. So just let the whole body drop towards the legs, reach down as far as you can to the feet, to the toes, to the back of the calves. And then slowly restacking, and then we're now going to cross one ankle over the knee, wrap our opposite arm around that knee, and then twist and look over our shoulder. You want to lift nice and tall in this position. We can push against the hands to give us that twist, and then release and change to the opposite side. So hugging the knee into your chest, lifting tall on the sitting bones, pushing into the arms and twisting around into a nice stretch. And then releasing, coming back into centre, cross the ankles, pull the knees into the chest, and then lift up nice and tall. Take a lovely deep breath in and out, feeling the length all the way through the spine. And then relax because you're finished. Well done.